You can take it later. Show. Show. Ow. Is that going to be your heart or your lungs?
That's supposed to be your lungs. I do apologize. It's not the best.
But you got to weigh your lungs to be right now.
Because they jumped out.
But they should be right here.
But they jumped out. They ripped out of your body. They're nasty. They tore up. It's not supposed to be, anatomically correct.
They ain't gonna let that,
They can't see it. Can't see it there. So they'll be all right.
Alright. You might get away with that.
Yeah. So, got one more week, huh? Two? I thought you had one. I know. Two. No, they ain't gonna let you go early. 14 days. 14 days and a wake up.
Yeah. I put 90 days on that one.
That's like someone in jail.
I put 90 days when I got here. Fuck them down.
Like been in jail.
14? No wonder.
Okay.
Okay.
Me too, man. I'm waiting. I know you've been getting to come off in here one day on the 15th day, and there's no gold in here. I'm like, all right, then.
I just seen my shit.
We sing that song in church. What a day that will be. With no gold, just there for me. Now we're gonna miss you, Mr. Gold. I think you ought to hang around too long here.
Yeah. Been here a minute.
Yeah, numbers.
Got a lot.
Yeah.
Got some new socks on. Yesterday was my birthday. My wife bought me some new socks.
And that was a big shirt too.
Yeah, I got 2 new shirts. Y'all see anything wrong with these shirts?
Not blue.
Not
blue.
Not blue.
That ain't got no pocket on it.
They got no pockets on them. These are formal shirts. They're not supposed to, they don't have a pocket. They're supposed to just for formal wear. And she didn't pay any attention. This is the second time she bought me a nice looking shirt and it's wound up being a formal shirt. And the last time I had to tell her, honey, it's got no pockets. It's not a work shirt, man. It's got no pockets. This little aggravating. So, I told my boss I was a little bit frustrated today because, I've already done this like 9 times and dropped my glasses on the floor. And well, I do that, But just pay attention. Buy me some stuff with, that I can use. But she bought me a bunch of pairs of socks. And
She
I'm
might
like,
should have went to some more dogs, and she said you got some holding in the house in there.
say it again.
She might should have went to some more drawers. She said you
Yeah.
got some drawers over to some of the residents. She might need to update you from 1826.
I probably could use some, you know.
You know, you should have been at the army drawers forever. They ain't going back there. They wouldn't even let you be.
Well, you know, I grew up dirt poor, and I tell you that stuff just kind of sticks with you. I wear stuff till it's gone. You know, I mean, I wear stuff till it's worn out. My wife said, "You need to throw that away. I can use it for something." Yeah, that shirt, you know, the collar's tore out of it, everything's tore. Yeah, I can use it to cut grass. See, because I wear a long sleeve shirt because you know I'm out in the country. And when I cut around the edge of my property and stuff, briars try to get you, you know. And they still get me, but not as much if you've got a shirt, a long sleeve shirt on. So, you know, so I still, and then when they can't use them for that anymore, I save them to polish my shoes and stuff, you know. So I don't get rid of it. So good morning, how's everybody doing? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're missing 4 people. I know Mr. Wingate went. He had an appointment, so he's gone.
Wingate, Justice,
Steve or Dennis.
Nick left somewhere.
So we're missing 4 people. But look, we've got some new people that are going to be coming in pretty quickly. So hopefully we'll fill up. You know, we have a capacity of 20 here, so like to see that happen. But today we're going to do with what we have. So we need to fill out our paperwork this morning. If you're a TAP client, fill it out TAP. If you're not, fill out the HHSC. Make sure that I can read that. If I can't read it, there is the possibility. I'm going to work at it. There's one person that I have to work at figuring out who the heck you are. And I don't know if it's on this side or if it's on north. There's one person on north that I have to work at, I know. So, you know, and no one can tell you how to write your signature. You know, you can do that any way you want to. That's where the old saying, you know, make your mark came in, because you can just make a mark. And if that's your signature, that's your signature. You know, you have the right to do that any way you want to. But if I can't read it and you don't get credit for it, especially if you're TAP, we have to report once a month everything you do. Every group you go to and all of that stuff, you get that reported. So, and if you do something that's come back with a bad UA or something, we have to report that like within 24 hours. I mean, that lady up there needs to know. So it's all got to be, just make sure that you got it right. And everybody brought their book to class. If you're over at North, you don't have a book, then you need to let the counselor know, and she will let Miss Caitlin know, and she will get you a book, because, you know, you cannot do the program without a program book. So, you know, last week we talked about, I was only here about really 3 sessions last week, because I wasn't here on Monday. And then on Friday, I'm not going to be here going forward for a while anyway. I'm not going to be here on Fridays because we have a clinical meeting that I have to be a part of. And so I'm not going to be here on Fridays. But, so we didn't spend a lot of time on the first week's stuff. And last week was a kind of a strange week, because we had it was a 5th week, so we were kind of doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But we're continuing today on physical health. So this week we're going to do physical health. And so we've got 4 days to do the rest of physical health. And we talked about it last week, and this week we're going to do some physical health stuff that's something that we actually have to do by law. The state wants us to do smoking cessation. and they want us to do HIV and STDs and all of that kind of stuff. And why do you think we would bother at a uh, drug and alcohol abuse program? Why wouldn't we teach on STDs and HIV and AIDS and stuff like that?
Put ourselves in dangerous situations.
We do. He said we put ourselves in dangerous situations, and we do that. You know, when we use drugs or alcohol, it lowers our inhibitions to do anything. You know, at that point, usually if we're high or drunk, we'll do anything and we'll do anybody. So that's why, you know, it's gotten to the place where we need to teach on that because it's so prevalent in our society. You know, it's so prevalent in our group, our group of people, those who use drugs and alcohol habitually. A lot, you know, we get into that a whole bunch. So we'll be doing that some other time down through the week. Today we're going to talk about smoking cessation. Why would we talk about smoking cessation?
Because tobacco.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, nicotine is the one drug that is a couple of different things. It is the one that kills the most people. And we'll talk about that a little bit. But the use of nicotine, use of tobacco rather, nicotine really doesn't hurt you. It's all the rest of the stuff that's in that. Nicotine is what the companies use just to keep you addicted. So the drug that you are addicted to that you cannot not use is nicotine. But all of the other stuff that's in that tobacco is what is going to bring you a whole lot of problems with your health and all of that stuff. And it's the one drug that we don't, when you come into a treatment facility, it's the one drug that will allow you to continue to use, right? Look, I have been. You ever been in a treatment facility where they didn't do that?
My first time.
Yeah. Well, I have been. I've been, you know, I was at the prison for 16 and a half years, and in that situation, you couldn't use tobacco products at all. And for a little while, when people came into that environment, it became a little bit of an issue, you know, because people had to get off the drug. And most of the people who got off the drug, they'd stay off the drug for months and months and months and months. And sometimes those programs run for a couple of years. They would go back out after treatment and begin to use again, which was tragic, you know, because if you can get off of it and stay off of it for 6 or 8 months, you know, one of the programs is 9 months long. So if you stay off of it for 9 months, you should be able to stay off of it for the rest of your life. But, you know, I've had people tell me that, I just don't want to. And that's the deal, you know. So if we're looking at our health physically, one of the things that we need to know before we begin getting into the smoking cessation is that the use of drugs and alcohol just naturally leads us to that place where we are not going to take care of our health well. And that's health on every level. Physical health, we are not taking care of ourselves physically the way that we should. Because I will tell you this, and I know that we all know this, but we need to be exercising, right? Our bodies were designed by God Almighty to exercise. We were. And the way that you know that is if you go over here to the little gym and you work out, your muscles will grow. They will. And if if they weren't meant to be exercised, they wouldn't grow. They wouldn't. So, we were meant to exercise. When I was using drugs and alcohol, when I was in the midst of my addiction, I wasn't exercising. The only exercise I got was running down the juice and the drugs. And, that's the only exercise I got. And, so I didn't get any exercise. I'm going to go today and get some. Yes, sir.
Is caffeine considered a drug?
Is caffeine considered a drug? Yes, it is. And you know, there's always some smart aleck in the group that's going to talk about well, you drink a lot of coffee, yeah, and that's true. You know it is. And is caffeine good for you?
No.
It's not really super duper good for you, but look, I'm diabetic, and you know, so I've researched all that stuff. And if you drink 1 to 4 cups of coffee a day, how many of us drink 1 to 4 cups of coffee a day? Yeah. It will help keep you from becoming pre-diabetic. So if you're not a diabetic yet, it's a good idea for you to drink a little coffee every now and then because it will help you. The ingredients in coffee will help you to not become diabetic. Here's the deal. It's a better thing for you to buy your beans, grind them yourself, and then drink that coffee. Because a lot of the time you go out here and get Maxwell House, you get Folgers, you get Chase and Sanborn, you get whatever it is that you want to get out of the store down there. It's got 9,000 other things in it other than just coffee. You know, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
About a year ago, I went on an 8-day cruise.
Mm-hmm.
And then while in Honduras,
Right.
got out, got some coffee beans.
Right.
Got some coffee. My God, it's the most amazing coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got a grinder, grind it up every morning, put it in the coffee machine, and oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. That's some good coffee. Now I will tell you this, that I go to sometimes to the little convenience stores and I get a cup of coffee, and some of them have the thing where they'll grind the beans.
Right.
That coffee, it's you know, it's okay. I don't know, you know, that Juan Valdez is down there picking the coffee beans. Y'all remember the commercial?
Yes.
Years and years ago, Juan Valdez, if you look, Juan's always out there picking the coffee beans, and I'm thinking, okay, when does Juan go to the bathroom? You know, when does Juan go and eat and all of that stuff? And I'm thinking, okay, no wonder the coffee beans taste a little funny because Juan's out there. He got to go poop sometime. Yeah, whatever he's doing something. So we need to, at this point, we need to start looking at our physical health. You know, here's the deal. Drugs and alcohol and cigarettes and coffee and all of this stuff, we need to look at every bit of that. Okay, we do. Because even if we're just drinking coffee, you know, we look at that and think, okay, how many people go to an AA group or an NA group and there's no coffee there? I've never been to one. You know, if there's no coffee at an AA group, this ain't AA. I mean, you've got to have coffee. You know, we're going to refuse to get sober if we ain't got some coffee. Yeah, you know, so we always have coffee. So, you know, but the thing is, can you overdo it with anything?
Yes.
Sure you can. You can overdo it with exercise. I'm a great proponent of exercise. You need to go exercise every day. I exercise every day. I go work out at least 3 times a week. I'm a great proponent of that. You need to be, no one that I know of exercises enough. Nobody does. We don't exercise enough. We need to be going. We need to be doing something. And I'm sure there's people out there that exercise plenty. But there are also people out there that carry it to extremes and exercise too much. Yeah, there are people who just, you know, that's their life. And okay, if that's what you want your life to be, that's fine. But I have other things. You know, I have other things. I don't just exercise. I do go about an hour a day over here at the little gym, run over there, you know, get changed and everything, gives you about 40-45 minutes that you can exercise and then get out of there. But we need to be doing some type of exercise. And if we've never done it before, we need to start doing it now. Doesn't matter what it is, do something. Do something. I tell y'all all the time about Mr. Gold walking around the parking lot, you know. That's not really that. It's not high impact, but it's exercise, and it's something that we need to do. I saw a little barbell out there, you know, and do some curls, do some something. That we have some stuff on on the deal out there, pull on that. When I was going over to the north, I saw the ladies walking around and around the building. Whatever we can do, we can do. Whatever it is, do it. And it's going to help you a little bit. So here's the deal. How many people this morning know that we need to stop using tobacco? We do. We need to stop using tobacco. Are we going to?
Try.
Some people, look, I have seen people after we do the deal, we're going to do it. Mr. Farmer used to, he'd go outside, that dude smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day. He'd be out there smoking and smoking and smoking and smoking. And then about 2 or 3 months ago, he decided I'm quitting. And he quit. So he quit using. I used to smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day. And then I made the decision I'm going to quit. I made the decision for financial reasons more than anything else, because we were in the military, and I think when I quit smoking, I was corporal. And I don't know, back in those days, we made about $100 a month, $120 a month, wasn't much. And so, cigarettes way back then cost 33 cents a pack. So if they cost 33 cents a pack and I'm smoking 3 packs a day, that's 99 cents a day. That's $1 a day. If you add all of that up, that's about $30 a month. Yeah, about $30, $31 a month. According to what month it is. And so, we would get down to about the 3rd week and we'd be out of money. My wife would call her mom and just talk to her, and mom would send us a $20 bill. And that $20 bill back then, this was in the 70s, okay? And that $20 bill would take us over that next week. So when I quit smoking, I saved $30. We didn't need that $20 a week from mother-in-law anymore. So it was a great big old boon for us. But nowadays, if you quit smoking, you're going to save $45, a day. So that's just a whole ton of money that you're going to save at the end of the month. So it is a good idea on a whole bunch of levels to stop smoking. One of them is financial. Right now, if you smoke a dollar. If you smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, that's a little over $500,000 a year. Not a year. $500,000 over your lifespan that you're going to spend a little over $500,000. And I don't know how it works. I just, I read the statistic. But if you smoke 2 packs a day, it goes up to a little bit over $750,000 that you're going to spend over your lifetime. Yeah, $750,000. A little bit over that. If you smoke 3 packs a day, I don't know how it works. Maybe once you start smoking more, you buy cheaper cigarettes or whatever it is. It stops just short of $1 million. So you're gonna spend a bunch of money. I have been behind people in the store, and there was a lady that I was behind. This happened to me one time. But she was buying a pack of cigarettes, and I don't remember what they cost. I swear they were $15 a pack. And she was digging in her purse looking for change. She had her $10 bill and a couple of ones, and she was trying to get the rest of the change. I'm standing there in line waiting my turn, and she kind of looking around furtively at people, and she's kind of looking at me like, be a gentleman and give me a couple of bucks. There's no way on the face of the earth. I am not. I'll buy you some milk, some crackers. I'll buy you some bologna and some bread. Ain't no way on earth I'm buying you any cigarettes, tobacco, alcohol. I ain't buying that crap. You don't need it. So she finally came up with the stuff, and she bought that pack of cigarettes or another pack or something. She did something. She left out of there with some poison. She left out of there with something that was going to help her not live very long. But this is a resource that I have come up with. I've had this for a while. This is a booklet on stopping smoking, but it's for veterans. But so here's the deal. If you're not a veteran, it won't work for you. That's not true, right? That's not true. It doesn't matter. This is going to work for you. We're going to run through just some stuff. And do I expect everybody that hears this little thing here, do I expect you to stop smoking?
No.
No, I don't. I don't. I wish that I could say that I did. And I have had, I've been teaching this for years, and I have had 2 or 3 people come up and say, man, since I heard that thing, I'm going to quit. And we have had people here in the treatment facility quit. When we were over at Avenue A, I had a young man who quit using, and so that's a really good thing.
Gold quit.
Yeah. Mr. Gold quit smoking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good deal. And he exercises and does all that stuff. So he's gonna be fantastic. Yeah. So here's the deal. If you've tried to quit before and you've not been successful, you should just give up because you can't do it, right? No, we don't give up. We need to continue to do it. I quit like 5 times before I finally got it done. Some people quit on the first try, but most people don't. It's usually, it takes an average of 6 to 8 times for you to stop smoking and then stay that way. Most people will make it a day, 2 days, sometimes 3 days. After 3 days, the cravings and all of that stuff begin to subside, and they're not that bad. Things start hurting, though, because they're starting to heal. Your lungs are beginning to heal. Your sense of smell is starting to come back. Your sense of taste is coming back. I mean, you do know, of course, that the use of tobacco robs you of your sense of taste. You can't taste like you used to. It robs you of your sense of smell. It robs you of your balance, takes away some of your balance, so you suffer from mild ataxia and stuff like that. So it does some horrible, nasty, stupid stuff to you. It does also cause cancer. Right? It's really the strangest thing I've ever seen. The Surgeon General said, hey, if we stop using we stop using tobacco in all of its forms, 98% of our medical issues would dissipate. They would go away. Yeah, but we'll go spend big money to buy something that we know is going to affect every cell in our body. It's going to cause us to have cancer and die. So it takes an average of 6 to 8 attempts for a smoker to quit for good. Tobacco dependence is a chronic disease, just like high blood pressure or high cholesterol. You're going to have to work at it to become a non-tobacco user. It takes a minute. You're going to have to fight it. It don't feel good. You're going to crave it. You're going to desire it. You're going to want it. It's going to cause you to sometimes be a blubbering idiot sometimes because, you just want to do it. So what's the best way to quit tobacco? There's a whole lot of ways, multiple ways to quit. The best way to stop tobacco is use behavioral techniques to help you break the habit and develop some new behavior. We're going to talk about some of those. There are medications that we can use, and sometimes we want to. So one of the first things that I need to come up with is my whys. What's a why? Yeah, well, I need to know why I smoke. That's a big deal. But I also need to know why I want to quit. Does everybody want to quit? No. There's tons of people that just don't want to quit. We had a lady that had like 4 or 5 kids, and she was pregnant at the time, and she was smoking like 3 packs a day. And if you're smoking when you're pregnant, it will cause your children to have issues. They can be born deformed. They can be born with their cognitive abilities deficient. They can be born with all sorts of problems, developmental problems, and all of these kinds of things. And we were telling her that, and she said, I don't care. I do not care. I got 4 children, and they're all fine. So if this one don't come out fine, that'd be all right. So, okay. There are people that are like that. And that's okay. I don't care if I do die. I'm going to go ahead and use tobacco. But there's several reasons that we might want to quit. The first step in quitting any addictive drug is determine why you want to quit. So here's some reasons we might want to quit. We can breathe better. You know, when we get up in the morning and we're just about to throw our lungs up and we're puking and we're doing all of this kind of stuff, and we have a smoker's cough and the cilia in your lung is all destroyed and all of that stuff. And once I stop smoking, within about a month, all of that's going to have repaired itself to a large extent, and I'm going to be able to breathe better. So maybe I want to breathe better. I'm also going to reduce my risk of cancer. If I stop smoking, does that guarantee I will never get cancer? No. But it lessens the chances that I might get cancer. You know, I'm a pastor of a church, and it never ceases to amaze me when somebody comes down. God, I need prayer for healing. Okay, what's the matter for you? Well, I've got lung cancer. Okay, well, you smoke. Yeah, I smoked for 40 years. So why are you surprised you got lung cancer? You're supposed to get lung cancer if you smoke for 40 years. It's what happens. It's like saying, hey, my eye hurts. Well, quit sticking your finger in your eye. Yeah, it might help. So, reduce my risk of heart attack and stroke. How many people really want a heart attack or stroke? No. I had a friend of mine who was just a fantastic young man. 40 years old, he had a massive heart attack and died. Massive heart attack at 40 years old. And, I have underwear older than him. So, and he died at 40. So I don't want a heart attack and I don't want a stroke. I want to go to sleep when I'm about 102. As long as I can serve the Lord Jesus, I'm going to stay here. And then when I'm about 102, I want to go to bed one night after a really nice meal, something really good. And then like pork chops or something really that I like. And then I want to wake up in the arms of Jesus. I don't want to have a heart attack.
You don't want it to be turkey burgers?
I don't want no turkey burger. I don't want my last meal to be a turkey burger. Thank you very much.
I want something that's nutritious and
and delicious. Yeah.
we ain't gonna be worried about the calories.
For your last meal?
My wife has made an announcement. My wife, we've been married for 52 years, and for that whole time, she has had Thanksgiving dinner at our house and Christmas dinner at our house, and she'll make a turkey with all of the trimmings and everything for Thanksgiving, and then she'll make a ham with all of the trimming for Christmas. Well, she has announced she's not doing that at all this year. She said, guess what I'm cooking? Nothing. So she's let the kids know, either y'all invite us to your house or we're going to the restaurant. I'm not doing it. And okay, she just turned 71. It's hard for her to stand up, so she doesn't have to do all that. So I'm going to improve the circulation in of blood in my legs and in my arms. The use of tobacco in all of its forms, in any of its forms, it causes your blood vessels to constrict and to get harder. They become like leather. And so blood doesn't run through them well. And so it's going to help if I do that. That circulation is going to come back. I go to the endocrinologist. And I was up there the other day, and there's a gentleman came out from the back, and he was walking around, and he had shorts on, and he had tennis shoes on, and his legs were about that big around. He wasn't a big guy, so they were swollen, and they were purple, and they, all of this kind of stuff. And I'm going, goodness, this is what diabetes will do to you. And he's walking, just really badly, and you can see in his pocket up here a pack of Marlboro. So it wasn't the diabetes altogether. Diabetes will do that, but the smoking is going to help that along. So they're going to do better for me. I'm going to reduce my risk of emphysema, chronic bronchitis, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. What is that? We call that COPD. Yeah, that's what we call it, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. I'm going to, I'm going to just feel that make me feel a whole lot better without all of that. I actually saw this. My wife and I just got back from vacation. We were out in all of those state parks, and I saw a guy pulling and I don't remember where he was, but he was pulling one of those bottles of oxygen. And I know where he was. He was in Bessemer, Alabama, at the restaurant in Bessemer, Alabama. Not the Golden Corral, that other one where Herschel is. Yeah, the guy with the barrel, Cracker Barrel. He was at the Cracker Barrel, and he was pulling that thing down that porch at the front of Cracker Barrel, smoking a cigarette. He had oxygen on, and he's smoking the cigarette. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's a little crazy. I was on oxygen for 7 years.
No, I didn't know that.
My constriction, my injection.
Yeah.
I had less than 22%. I would get less than 22% oxygen to my brain and my heart.
Yeah, well, that explains some stuff.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by it. The other thing is that you're going to smell better. You're going to smell better. I had a young lady this morning that was standing beside me, and it was amazing. She smelled so good. She smelled like cinnamon. And, I'm going, wow, that's unique. I've never, you smell perfume and all of that kind of stuff. And she uses something a little different, and she smelled like cinnamon. I'm going, man, that's an interesting thing. But if you go out of here and you smoke a couple of cigarettes and you come back in, we know it.
Oh yeah,
we know it. I was at a facility where you couldn't smoke, and there was a guy that went to the bathroom and came back and sat down, and everybody knew what he did in the bathroom. You can't hide that. You stink. And smoking will not send you to hell, will it? No, but it'll make you smell like you visited it. Yeah. I mean, and people, you can't smell as good, but other people can smell you. So you're going to smell better if you stop using. So I'm going to, and this is important. I'm going to improve my sense of smell and my sense of taste. And a lot of people don't realize that smoking robs us of our sense of smell and our sense of taste. This stuff is poison. And so when we smoke it, we put it in our mouth, and it goes across our taste buds. Your tongue is almost completely filled with taste buds, taste sensors that taste the food that goes into your mouth. God made you pretty special, so you can taste all of this kind of stuff. But smoking cigarettes destroys a whole lot of your taste buds. They all come back. But as long as you keep poisoning them, every time they try to raise their head, you slap them with some more poison off of that cigarette, and there they go. We're going to save some money. That's another thing. That's one of the big reasons I quit. You're going to you're going to set a good example for your children and your grandchildren. I've had dozens of people down through the years tell me, and I've told y'all, that I don't want my kids to do what I did. And I don't want my kids. I was smoking cigarettes. I was smoking dope. I was drinking vodka. I was driving drunk. I was fighting everybody who want to fight. Girl, guy, whoever. I don't care. You want to fight? I had that small man complex. Let's go on. I'm going to whoop on you. Yeah, I'm going to find the biggest guy in the room. See, back in the day, I would have already whooped Mr. Washington. I'd already whooped him. Yeah. I might have had to sneak up behind him to get her done, but I get her done. So, and I don't want my kids to do that kind of crazy, man. So what do I?
Mr. Washington.
Say it again.
Neither does Mr. Washington.
No. But so what do you have to do?
Pray to God and ask for him to help you, because I used to be that same person too.
Yeah.
We have to ask God to humble us.
Yeah, we have, and God did humble me, and God continues to humble me. And I will tell you, I'm appreciative of the fact that God has humbled me in that area. I'll tell you this, if I'm going, you are a role model. I had a guy tell me, or I watched it on an Ed thing or TED thing or something. But he said, look, I'm this was a football player, so must have been on a TED thing. He said, I don't care what y'all say. I choose not to be a role model. Right. You can't choose not to be a role model. You are a role model. It doesn't make any difference what you want at all. You just happen to be a role model for your kids and grandkids and great-grandkids. You are a role model. So what you do, they're going to do. You know, when they see you, they're going to do that. I went to a guy's house that was my wife's uncle or some kind of crazy mess, dead now. And he was roofing his house himself. I thought that was good. His son was down on the ground, and his grandson, who was about 5. And he yelled down at his son. He said, bring me another bundle of those shingles. And his son said, if you want them stinking singles, you blankety blank come down and blankety blank your own blankety blank single. And his grandson, 5 years old, he blankety blank with the blankety blank single blankety blank. And he's standing up, his name was Jerry. Jerry's sitting up on top of that roof, and he said, what you gonna do, Herschel? I said, I don't know what you're gonna do, but if that's my son, I'd killed him by now. I would be, man, I would. And so the boy learned from the dad, the grandson learned from the boy. No. And I'm going to tell y'all this. Look, this is plain, unadulterated braggadocio. Okay, I'm bragging. I've told people in the past, I'm not bragging, but I am. I'm bragging. I have 3 kids. I have 2 boys and a girl. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. I've done well. I have never heard any of them use any kind of profanity. Now, do they know profanity? Of course they do. And do they use it? More than likely, but not around me and not around their grandmother or their great-grandmother. It's just not done. You know, so they don't do it. Am I bragging about it? Yes, because those kids never heard me use it. They don't use it. Those kids, every one of them, none of them, all of them, none of them smoke. That's a lie. One of them smokes. Out of all of those, one of them smokes. They never saw me do it. Out of all those kids, grandkids, none of them drink. None of them drink. None of them use drugs. They never saw me do it. They had a good role model, right? I'm a good role model. Right? Now that hadn't always been true. I was a very poor role model before I got my act together. Right? Once I got my act together, okay. My kids say I got my act together before my kids got old enough to be affected by the poor role. So that we're role model, we're an example, and you're going to have more control over your life. I watch people, you know, when it's getting time for the break, I watch people start to get a little fidgety. Used to, people would pull their cigarettes out and put them on the table. We don't allow that. So you can't have them on the table. And I see people getting fidgety. They don't have any control over that. You know, I've had people, hey, man, hey, look here. It's break time, dude. I need a smoke. I got to go outside. Okay, you have no control. You're controlled by the drug. And we know that's true. When I get up in the morning, what's the first thing I do? I push a button. I stumble into the living room, turn the light on, and then I continue to stumble. We've got French doors that go into our kitchen, and I stumble into the kitchen and push the button. And then I stumble back to the bathroom, brush the teeth, and do all of those things, get myself a little bit presentable. And by that time, I know the coffee's made. So I go back I don't have any control over that. I'm gonna have me a cup of coffee, and usually I'm gonna have me a pot of coffee. Now, yeah, I make about 10 cups of coffee, and I'm gonna drink them all because the 10 cups on there is only about 3 cups for the cup that I have a big old cup the church gave me that has pastor on it, and that thing that it'll hold 3 cups of coffee, so people know what you need, right? So you'll have more control over your life. But we just need to come up with a why. And here it is, why, the big why is that, look, I'm going to live longer. I'm going to be able to live a little bit longer. But why do I use tobacco to start with? Tobacco is used associated with several different behaviors that are closely related. One of the things that we need to know is that tobacco use is a learned behavior. Why is it important to know that tobacco use is learned? Anything that's learned can be unlearned. Right? I learned how to use it. You learned it from your family and from your friends, magazine ads, television, movies. You don't see it in the movies or in television much anymore, do you? Yeah, they don't do it anymore because a lot of us learned it, during our military careers and stuff, that a lot of us learned to drink and do all of those kinds of things in the military, smoke them if you got them. A lot of times, I've seen kids start in the military. When I was moving them and doing something, you set them down, and it's just a natural, normal thing. Smoke them if you got them. And you see guys giving kids that never smoked before, 17, 18 years old, never smoked. So, think about how often you puff, drag on a cigarette a day. If you smoke 1 pack of cigarettes a day, and each cigarette takes 10 puffs, that's 200 puffs a day. Over a course of 40 years, you take approximately 3 million puffs. So that's for 1 pack of cigarettes. So if it's 2 packs of cigarettes, that's 6 million puffs. 6 million times you're pulling a carcinogen into your lungs. Smoke 3 packs, that's 9 million doses of cancer-causing agent that you're putting into your lungs. 9 million times. Is there any mystery that you might catch cancer or something like that? It's also a triggered behavior, meaning that certain activities, times a day, make you think about having a cigarette. How about waking up in the morning? Most people wake up, reach over, and what are they reaching for? Pack of cigarettes on the table next to them after meals. See a lot of people, you eat, you got to smoke a cigarette. During breaks, you can't. If it's break time, it's smoke time. While we're driving, a lot of people smoke while they drive, talking on the phone, working on a computer, drinking coffee, drinking alcohol, after sex, before bedtime, waking up during the night. Stress, pain, anxiety, anger, impatience, seeing someone else smoke, feeling bored, watching TV, all sorts of things. After completing a task, if you got it finished, it's time to take a break and have a smoke. So, there's some other things we can do instead of that, but we need to understand, we talked about this the other day, and I think you brought it up, that the smoking, usually we get to a place where we're addicted to it, it is an automatic behavior. And what's an automatic behavior?
Don't think about it.
Yeah, behavior without thought. I'm not even thinking about it. So I'm standing around and I just reach for my pocket, which I don't have a pocket, but reach for your pocket and pull out a cigarette or wherever you keep your cigarette, and it's just automatic. It's what I do. And it just a little thought of it. You find you smoke without thinking about it. You recall times you lit a cigarette, notice you already had one lit. Just not thinking about it. So there's a lot of things you can do. If you carry your cigarettes in your front pocket, put them on the kitchen counter. If you use chewing tobacco, place a tin on the kitchen counter, another location, hide it. Keep track of the cigarettes that you smoke. Track your tobacco use on a sheet of paper or something so that you know exactly how many you're doing. If today you're smoking 40 cigarettes, you cut that down to 35. Is that okay?
Yeah.
It's progress. It's not where you need to be. How many cigarettes are too many cigarettes? One, because we are putting carcinogens into our lungs. That don't make sense. Are cigars better than cigarettes for you? No, they're actually worse. You've got more tar, you've got more nicotine, you've got more of all the cancer-causing agents in a cigar. How about pipe tobacco? Is it safe? No, same thing. How about marijuana? It's not tobacco like we think of. Is it safe? Boy, everybody that was going like this for tobacco when we got the marijuana, man, yeah, I want it to be high, but it's not. Marijuana has 7 times more tar in it than tobacco. 7 times more tar. So it will cause cancer pretty readily, And it's just like everything else. Okay, if I do die, I do die. If you're chewing tobacco, you can use the same method. Chewing tobacco is not healthy either. We used to have a video of a guy who lost this whole side of his face. He lost his jawbone. And the ugly man now, he got a normal jawbone over here. When it comes right here, they had to take out like 2/3 of his jawbone. And when you take out 2/3 of your jawbone, guess what else you lose? Teeth. Your teeth, nothing to hang on to. So the teeth all came out as well. So what did he do? I know it sounds ridiculous, but he did not stop dipping tobacco. He moved it over to the good side. Well, he did say, I figure I may live another 20, 30 years. Probably I can use tobacco without getting cancer on this side, without losing that side of my face. And he's already lost his side, so it's not like he's going to attract anybody. I mean, it's just crazy. It's a really bad thing. There are some things that are beneficial for when you quit smoking. Here's some of the benefits of stopping. After the first 2 weeks, we have improved breathing. We have more energy, an improved sense of taste and smell after 2 weeks. The yellow staining is almost gone from your fingers and the sides of your mouth. It will go away. Feeling like you're in control instead of the cigarette being in control of you, and now you have a little bit more money. So that's after a couple of weeks. You can do all sorts of stuff with that. And, the amount of money that we spend on tobacco and stuff like that now is so much different than when I was smoking. 33 cents a pack. Goodness. If they were still a lot of people would kill themselves. Smoking, if they only cost 33 cents a pack.
What about the alcohol consumption and money?
Yeah.
Alcohol is skyrocketing.
Oh, yeah.
I guess from that time period.
And everything is. You know what the minimum wage was in 1970s?
$3.40.
$2. No. At some point it was 75 cents. Then it went on So.
What brand of cigarettes did you smoke?
Well, I was smoking Marlboro.
And they were that cheap?
Yeah, back then, yeah. I was smoking Marlboros, and there was something else I smoked.
Lucky Strike.
No, I can't remember.
You want to smoke a Pall Mall?
I have smoked a Pale Male, and I've smoked a Lucky Strike.
About Vincent and Hedges and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that was a girl cigarette.
Yeah. My mom used to smoke those.
Yeah.
My mom, we were
Yeah.
stealing
Savers?
They were smaller. It said Benson and Hedges. That was for you know back then. They were just they were long and they were skinny and of course I've smoked them when that's what there is to smoke. That's what you smoke. We smoked a cigarette back then called Picayune. Y'all ever heard of that?
My dad was.
Picayune, very short cigarette. Right, about like a Camel, and no filter.
Right.
And
They
they
had
were,
like a little man on there.
yeah, they
On the
were,
back with a light pole.
yeah, they were some tough. So, there's some other things we're going to talk about cigarettes. We don't want to get through all of it, but first off, we're going to talk a little bit about nicotine. What is nicotine? Nicotine is an addictive drug, right? Just like caffeine is an addictive drug, cocaine is an addictive drug. The thing about nicotine is really not all that harmful. Nicotine is not what bothers you. It's just what keeps you addicted to the drug. Nicotine in high doses will kill you, but anything in high doses will kill you. Salt in high doses will kill you. Yeah. Anything will. Nicotine is a substance found naturally in tobacco. It's in tobacco when you get it. It causes feelings of pleasure itself. It causes relaxation, stimulation, and stress reduction. Nicotine is the addictive part of the tobacco. It's not by itself harmful to your body. It's not going to do anything terrible to you. The other substances found in tobacco and substances formed when tobacco is burned is what harms your body. They have about 6,000 different things that's in tobacco. But when you light it on fire, then you have all of these things come together and it turns into about 30,000 different things that are there. There are more than 7,000 chemicals in tobacco. Of those 7,000 chemicals in tobacco smoke, 69 of them are harmful to humans and can cause cell damage, cell death, and cancer. So, what do you think's in there?
Arsenic.
What is it?
Arsenic.
Carcinogens. Yeah, carcinogens. There's some stuff in there. I want us to start this when we get back from our break. So we're going to take a take a smoke break, and then we'll come back and we're going to go over all of the harmful things. So let's go ahead and take our break. We'll get back in about 15 after, and we'll get started again. We're taking a nice long break.
I'm trying to get up in a hurry. I need a cigarette. How's your wife?
She's well.
All right, good. She started her journey.
Yeah, she has. She's up to 15.
Oh, yes, ma'am. All right.
She's up to 15 now.
That's wonderful. She works on. She does these.
I don't know what she's doing. Yeah, she has some drugs that they're taking.
Right.
She's exercising.
Okay. Well,
She's a better.
so keep up the good work.
Yes, sir.
A little bit of work, like she said, a little bit of work don't go a long way. Just like exercise. I'm pulling forward.
Yeah, I think.
Thank you. like my room aroma. It smells good.
Sounds like crap.
Good morning.
Hey,
Yes, good.
hey, my favorite person.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah. But it's all still already said.
Oh, okay.
And one more minute. Government. Got some more? Hell, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Your hands are. Hello.
Hey, Casey, you good? Casey?
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Got a pepper.
Yeah.
Like what it really was, baby.
How's your weekend?
Oh. I mean, yeah, I'm good. I don't
I'm gonna phone call right quick.
You kind of relationship. And it's still chatting. It's so,
It's my word shall obey. Ooh, and you know,
What's in right here? It's for November, right?
um,
Huh?
5, 8,
Okay, here got it on.
Yeah, but you gotta also know the band is gone on the trip too, but yeah, you can let us know somebody on the way if you got to wait yet.
Alright,
show, watch.
go over the first thing.
So,
Yeah,
watch.
not go. Just okay.
So, I'm going to go to the new location. My turn.
So look, yeah, after y'all shift this, hey, it's fine. After y'all shift this over, let's follow this in the book to put them in the box. I want to put these really big files in the book. I just cleared it out.
Some back here.
I was telling you.
Oh, you got it, Mom?
Who's that for? We can follow all in today. But they put it in our bill.
So,
Have you picked up the nurses?
One, 8, 3, 5.
1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And over the day, you know, over here. That's over me.
I'm going to do There we go. Putting up this selection.
Right. Right.
Oh,
Okay. Oh yeah, I'm gonna send she wanted me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, yeah. Yeah.
Man.
What?
Shit. At least your windows stay stacked right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm blessed on now.
That's a good thing.
That's it. So I'm blessed on now.
Yeah.
Plenty of time. Good.
Sugar. Little water in it. That look like that's water.
you okay there, Mr. Washington?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I have 0 complaints.
Well, it's all peacefully and long without.
Especially this weekend, I gave it plenty consideration. There are some minor, I wouldn't call it, that I've left on the table. But I'm currently trying to my spouse and I'm making a conscious decision. You know how it is. So you gotta have it out.
Oh,
Yeah, you gotta have alphabets.
yeah, I'm trying to slow down. I'm showing myself. Yesterday I turned 7. Oh, hey, I might need to slow down. And I don't slow down. I slow down.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking at, and I'm going to do it. Do another.
This is your certification.
So what's your choice?
It's gonna be tough. Try to give us some 6 months to study for certification. I'm gonna see how figuring out. Math has never been one of my favorite subjects, but I think I can master it. That will be my only hurdle.
Well, I'm pretty good at math, but it's
One of the mathematics is statistics. That's one of the subjects I have to be able to understand statistics.
It's just how your brain works. My brain doesn't work well with statistics. I've not been able to master that.
I don't know where I land on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to find out.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
And one of the other one was physics.
Yeah, physics is a little different. All right, we're back.
All right, let's go, guys.
Most of the guys here are not back,
I know.
but
It's only 15 minutes.
they're coming. So I know you can't see this very well over at North, but this is a picture of someone smoking a stogie, and their lungs are kind of hanging out, and that shows us it's not a good plan. So we're going to look at a little bit this morning. When we come to the second half of the group, I always want to call it the afternoon, but we all know it's not the afternoon, it's still the morning. So, but we're going to talk about some stuff here. What's in the cigarette when we fire that thing up and we start smoking it? Just what kind of chemical am I pulling into my lungs? So we know about nicotine first. Nicotine is the drug that's keeping us addicted to the tobacco. Now, I want to say, well, nicotine, of course, is harmless, but nicotine's not harmless. If we use it in large doses, it can kill, and it has been used in to kill bugs and stuff like that, but in large doses. So we're not using it in large doses, so it's going to be pretty much not harmful to us. But it is harmful in the fact that it's the drug that keeps us addicted to the things that are harmful to us. There are some things, and most of these things are put into your tobacco for several different reasons. One is for flavoring. and makes it taste a little bit better. And the second one is for freshness, to keep it from drying out and becoming stale and all of that stuff. You know, you can get a pack of cigarettes that's been on the shelf for quite some time, and they're still, you know, like they're fresh. And it's stuff that we put in it. So here's some stuff that we put into it. It's good. First off, we have carbon monoxide. And what is carbon monoxide?
Car exhaust.
It's car exhaust. It is a colorless, odorless gas that is poisonous to humans and animals. Will kill you. If you go out here and your car is leaking and stuff like that, or you close yourself up in your garage, you're going to die. And it is colorless and odorless. We watch the old television shows. We don't watch many of the new shows because they're just trash. But my wife likes Rizzoli and Isles. Y'all have seen that show? It's a couple of ladies as detective. Well, one's a detective, one's a medical examiner. And they went to a person's house, and that person was killed, and they had killed themselves using the car exhaust. And they always do it. When they walked up to the house, you know, they're looking at the garage door, and there's this mist, this smoke coming out from under the car door. And Rizzoli, the detective, says, "Hey, you know what that is? That's car exhaust. That's carbon. Look, carbon monoxide is colorless and odorless, and you can't see it, and you can't smell it. That's what colorless and odorless mean. But it will croak you at any rate, right? If you get enough of it, if you go and sit in your garage and let it build up in there, you will sooner or later suffer from croakification. So we're sucking that stuff into our lungs, right? And so look, it'll kill you. So we're sucking that into our lungs. The next thing is it has lead in it. So lead, what is lead?
A metal.
It is a metal, and it is in the cigarette, and it causes central nervous system damage. So as we're sucking that in, and I saw some of you out there, and there was no guilt at all. It's all, yeah. Okay, so that you cause some central nervous system damage. It also has hydrogen cyanide in it. What is hydrogen cyanide? It is a dangerous, deadly stuff. It is used to make synthetic fibers, plastics, and pesticides.
Used a lot in petrochemical.
Yeah, used a lot in the petrochemical industry. Yeah, and they use it to make plastics, and they use it to make all sorts of kind of crazy mess, pesticides. And so this cyanide is in your cigarette. What else has cyanide in it? No, it's not cyanide. I think it's arsenic. In an apple. Y'all like apples?
Love it.
Have you ever eaten an apple seed?
Yes.
Apple seeds are good. If you bite into an apple seed, they taste really good. I like them. But they have arsenic in them. And if you eat enough of it, it'll kill you. But, takes a whole bunch of it. It has ammonia in it. And what is ammonia?
It's toxic gas, but it's turned into
Right, and it's an irritating, very corrosive and cancer-causing agent. It will burn, if you sniff ammonia, just a little bit of it will burn the cilia out of your lungs like you've smoked 1 million packs of cigarettes. It will really mess you up. So it has ammonia in it. Most people know ammonia as a cleaner. It's used as a cleaner.
Do not mix ammonia and chloride together. It absolutely forms a gas.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So be careful if you're going to food with ammonia. Be careful if you put it together with Clorox. You said it'll cause then a toxic gas. But this already is in a toxic gas that we're sucking into our lungs. right?
I think being a chemist, I would know all of that, and I would smoke.
Yeah.
Outside.
Yeah, we should know better. So it has cadmium in it. What is cadmium?
It's another arsenic, and it's very, very dangerous, and it's in high doses.
Yes, and it's like a metal, but it is like mercury. Mercury is a liquid metal, and this is kind of like that. It's a liquid metal. Mercury and cadmium both affect your kidneys. So when you smoke cigarettes, you're affecting your kidneys with that. It has polonium 210. Polonium 210 is really neat, right? It's a rare, highly radioactive, and volatile soft gray metal. That's in your cigarette.
They use that.
Yeah.
As well as nuclear bomb.
Right, and that's why when you a smoker, when you cut the lights off at night, that's why you glow a little bit. If you've wondered about it, maybe you hadn't smoked it. If you're not glowing yet,
Did you just relapse in that part of your recovery?
say it again.
Did you just relapse in that part of your recovery?
No, not yet.
It seems like you glowing.
I'm a glowing, yeah. Well, I glow just because I glow.
It might be
Wow.
haircut. It might be
It's
fresh
a
haircut.
new haircut.
I
Yeah.
use a haircut.
Yeah, yesterday.
Coffee.
It's the coffee, and yesterday was my birthday and all of that kind of stuff, and I turned 72 yesterday and all of this stuff, and so things are, yeah, I think, I'm just glowing because of that. So it's a rare, highly radioactive, volatile, gray soft metal that is in our cigarettes, and we suck that into our lung. And you got to know that's not good for you. We talked about it. It has arsenic in it, and arsenic is very, very poisonous. Arsenic is used as a pesticide a lot of times, and it can kill. Say it again?
They use it in rat poison.
Yeah, they use it in rat poison and to kill all sorts of stuff. And so arsenic is not good. The Russians used arsenic to be when they put it in a little tablet and stuck it in their secret agents' teeth.
Right.
And so when they got caught or something, they bite down and kill them pretty quickly. So it's very, very bad. It has benzene in it. What is benzene? Yeah, benzene's a solvent. It causes cells not to work correctly. This is one of the greatest, one of the worst cancer-causing agents because it affects the very cells of your body. Yeah.
Use benzene.
Yeah.
Like,
We used to use benzene. Benzene's in lighters, used in lighter fluid. It's used in solvents. It's used in cleaners and all that stuff. And then it has formaldehyde in it. Formaldehyde is what's formaldehyde used for?
Embalming fluid.
Got embalming fluid. It's also used to make glue. Make glue with formaldehyde. We make a lot of other things with formaldehyde, but it's used as an ingredient in embalming fluid. And this is probably, if there's any one of them that's any good, this is probably the one that's good because you're killing yourself and you're embalming yourself.
At the same time. Isn't that a street drug though?
So that is it a straight drug?
it's used. Yes, sir. It's used.
I don't.
I wouldn't say a street drug.
Look, here's the deal. Anything that'll get you a little bit high, we will do this. That's why we have to build these great big old things around our air conditioning units and stuff, because people will break into the unit to get the freon out and use the freon. So everything like that can do it.
From frozen off.
Yeah. Right. So even though it's not burned, smokeless tobacco also contains these harmful chemicals. Okay, so there's nothing that will, if you're chewing tobacco, will that cause lung cancer?
Probably lung cancer and mouth
It will cause mouth cancer and larynx cancer and throat cancer and lung cancer and all cancers all over your body, because even though you're not sucking it into your lungs, you're breathing. And as you breathe, it takes that into your lung. And then, like you said, you swallow some of that stuff, and that gets into your stomach and causes stomach cancer.
taking this to school today, G. Dr. G.
Yeah, other products and devices that deliver nicotine, including the electronic cigarette, also is harmful to us and causes some of these things to get into our body. Some products with nicotine can help you quit using tobacco. Nicotine replacement therapy, we want to get rid of some of that stuff. But one of the worst things, this thing has, all of the addictive drugs that are out there have a withdrawal, what's the word I'm looking for? Part to them. If we get off of that drug, if it's an addictive drug, it's going to cause us to have withdrawal symptoms, correct? Everything. Get off alcohol, you're going to have some withdrawal symptoms. You get off cocaine, whatever it is, marijuana, they all have it. Cigarettes have a pretty bad withdrawal, withdrawal symptom that goes along with it. Now, here's the deal that I want us to know is that anything that we use that causes us to withdraw from it, once we get off of it, is something we should avoid, right? If when I stop using it, I'm going to have some physiological or psychological issues because I've stopped using it, then I should avoid using that, right? Anything. Cigarettes are no exception to that. Nicotine is one of the most addictive substances on the planet Earth. One of the most addictive. So this is why it's so hard for us to quit. You can get addicted pretty quickly if you decide to buy. If you've never smoked before and you decide to buy a pack of cigarettes, by the time you've ended that pack of cigarettes, by the time you finish that pack of cigarettes, you're probably going to be addicted to that drug. Does anybody here, or does everybody here ought to, you remember the first time you smoked a cigarette? I remember the first one that I ever smoked. I'm going to tell you what, I nearly choked to death. I mean, it was horrible. Your body is rebelling against what you're about to do to it. You choke and you spit up and you do all sorts of kind of mess, and you get high, from that first one. And so your body's saying, please don't do this. This is stupid. Don't put this junk in my body. This is crazy. Don't do it. No, but we forced it down because it looks so cool. I got thought, I'm smoking a cigarette. Look at me. I'm so cool. We do that, and then we do that 3 or 4 or 5 times. Yeah. And then now I'm not cool anymore. I go from what? A cool to fool. Get it? Because now I can't stop. Now I can't say no. Now I got to have it. Now, even though we go through a whole program of talking about all of the junk that we put into our body, when break time comes, and the demon says, you got to do it, you got to do it, we got to do it. So, you feel the need for a cigarette when the level of nicotine in your body starts to drop. And that's true for any drug that you use. We put into our body what's called a false stasis. Your body has a stasis. What does that mean? This is what we need to operate correctly, right? So in our body we have dopamine. We're going to have serotonin. We're going to have GABA. What else we're going to have? So what we do when we're smoking or we use alcohol or any other kind of drug, we add into that a false stasis. The stasis is not supposed to be there, but now we have that stasis. Now we have the nicotine stasis. Not supposed to be there, but it's there. So when the GABA is low, what happens? My body creates more of it. When the dopamine gets too low, what happens? My body creates more of it. When the alcohol gets too low, what happens? My limbic system tells my body to create more of it. Your body can't create alcohol, can it? So you have to get more alcohol and introduce it into your body. So then the same thing happens with nicotine. When we've created this false stasis, so when the nicotine gets too low, then your limbic system tells your body to create more nicotine. Your body can't create more nicotine, can it? So what we have to do is go find more nicotine. The best place or the easiest place to find nicotine is with cigarettes or tobacco of some ilk. If we want to, we can get the nicotine gum or the nicotine package or the nicotine something or other and stop us from having to do that. So your body starts, when it starts to drop, you can go a long period. If you go for long periods of time between cigarettes, such as sleeping through the night, when you get up in the morning, you're going to have a strong craving to smoke. Now, here's some of the feelings that you're going to have when you get low on nicotine. How we doing? Just kind of showed up. We're glad to have you.
I was at the doctor's.
Yeah. We all talked about you badly, Wayne. We did. Bad. Some of these guys, man, it was bad. So here's some of the things. When that gets down, you might feel the following effects if you are low on nicotine. Irritability, frustration, a little bit of anger. You wouldn't believe that I've been in some situations where you had to extend the group. You know, like we're going to have to quit early. Like not until after the first of the year, but after the first of the year, we're probably going to be doing the leadership meetings again, and we'll have to quit the group at 10:30. So if we quit the group at 10:30, that means at 10 o'clock we're not going to take a break. Yeah. And people will get irritable and get angry because we're not taking the break on it. Because now we're used to taking a break at 10 o'clock so that we can go out and have a cigarette. Right? And so we get angry and irritable about that kind of stuff. It will cause us to feel anxious, get anxious and shaky because we don't have it. We can have some difficulty concentrating. This is why I make sure that we get a break, because we're not really good at concentrating to start with. We're not. Addicts, we have problems with concentration. We're quickly pulled off like that. And so, if we're at a place where our nicotine level is low, then we're going to have another thing that's going to cause us not to be able to concentrate well. And then we can become restless, get depressed, have difficulty sleeping. Sometimes we have an increased appetite, sometimes not. Coughing, you can get a runny nose. Those cravings and urges get worse. So, look, I know this is redundant, but let me tell you this. Anything that we use and we stop using it for just a period of time, and it causes all of these responses in our bodies, should give us pause to think when we go to use it again. Now, if it's going to cause all this crap, something's not right. So maybe we should think about not using it. So most of these symptoms start the first or second day you're off tobacco. And just the first or the second day. So it takes a minute for that to hit us. It doesn't start right away. But that first day, if you're 3 or 4 or 5 hours, you haven't had anything to smoke or to chew or to dip, then it's going to cause you some issues. So they're at their worst in the first week. They get better with time. Most symptoms are going to disappear completely after 2 to 4 weeks. That's a long time to have to deal with that stuff, but it is not up here where it's so big you can't stand it. It's gonna, it's gonna lessen and go away a little bit over time. The urge to smoke can stay with you for a long time. I remember when I quit smoking, I was watching television, and back then, in that day, they could smoke on television, and they smoked in the movies and everything. And you watch a guy put a cigarette in his mouth, and he keeps talking, and the cigarette's going up and down, and I'm sitting there going, light it. Just light the cigarette. Smoke it. Because I'm not smoking, but I want to see him do it. Yeah, if you're going to do it, do it. Yeah. And so it was bad there for a little while. But, I will tell you this, that I haven't smoked since I was in my 20s, probably 50 years ago. And I will tell you this, that I have no desire ever to do. There's no way. There's nothing that I miss about smoking. Smoking is horrific. It's not good. It's going to go away after a period of time. In 2 to 4 weeks, the urges get shorter. Most people, the urge lasts only seconds. After they have been off tobacco for a month or longer, nicotine withdrawal symptoms can be managed by medications and by behavioral coping strategies. We can do some stuff. To deal with the irritability, we can avoid stress in our lives. There's things that causes that. Practice relaxation techniques. And then one of the biggest ones that we always talk about is what? Exercise. Exercise is a marvelous thing. Depression, just go do something fun. Difficulty concentrating, again, stay away from stress. Plan your work day out. Sometimes getting off cigarettes causes us to be dizzy. Remember we talked about ataxia? That's where you're a little bit, like that. That's what that is. And sometimes it causes dizziness. So just get up slowly. Take your time doing those kinds of things. Sometimes it causes your chest to feel tight. What does that make us think of? Gonna have a heart attack. When actually all it is you're getting off of the cigarette. Man, something that'll make you feel like that, why on earth would we use it? So, if you have that, just relax a little bit, you're going to be okay. Fatigue, take some naps. And you need to drink, none of us drink enough water, so we need to drink water. It can cause stomach pain. It can cause constipation. It can cause gas, which again causes stomach pain. So drink fluids, eat fruits and vegetables. You're going to be okay. It can cause a cough, dry throat, runny nose. Again, drink fluids, eat sugar-free candy.
Sugar-free candy? That's like non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, I don't understand it. That's like my wife. My wife drinks coffee. No, she doesn't drink Old Do. She drinks caffeine-free coffee.
Like, what's the point?
Yeah, what's the point? Coffee doesn't taste that good. I want the drug. I don't want. So there's some things that tobacco does to us, and we already know it. We went over it. It's a bit redundant, but I want to redo it. Tobacco can be harmful to every part of your body. Every part of your body. Many of these problems can be completely or almost completely reversed when you stop using tobacco. There's a list of the most common problems of tobacco that's going from your head to your toes. First, stroke. Using tobacco can cause stroke. It's caused by blockage or breaking of a vessel in the brain, mouth and throat cancers, cavities and loss of teeth, bad breath, halitosis. It causes decreased night vision. can't see in the dark as well as you could. Yellow staining of skin and teeth, nose congestion and infections. The use of tobacco actually causes you to wrinkle more readily than if you don't use tobacco. I went to a funeral the other day. As I grow older, more of my friends seem to be meeting me at funerals. Sometimes they're the guest of honor. But there's a young lady there that's about 10 years younger than myself and my wife. Name's Tammy. She was so wrinkled. I mean, she would just, I'm talking about, it was amazing. You look at her and she's just wrinkled all up, you know. She's a very heavy smoker. And she was a hairdresser and she used a lot of makeup. And so she stopped using the makeup, and that makeup and the use of all that tobacco has caused her to wrinkle prematurely. What out there?
Big old crow.
Big old, there's a crow.
It's not big, but
There's a bird.
Wingspan is so big.
Sorry ladies, we have a bird outside our window. So in the lungs, it causes cancer up to 85%.
Oh, there's some big.
Maybe it's Batman. Who knows?
That's some big in the road. He's trying to get it.
Buzzard.
Yeah, it's a buzzard.
Turkey buzzard.
I see that. I was but I see it. It's something big in the road. Trying to get to it. See, right on the other side. Like probably one of the squirrels. And then be running back and forth. He's trying to get it. Hey, he wait.
We have a bird outside. Cancer, up to 85% of all lung cancers come from smoking. What are the other 15% from? I don't know. But 85% of them come from smoking. Emphysema, chronic bronchitis, worsening of any kind of asthma you have, lung infections. It can cause congestive heart failure, heart attacks, increased blood pressure and heart rate. In your stomach, it can cause cancers, ulcers, and heartburn. In your pancreas, it can cause cancer. Circulation in the arms, legs, and feet are reduced circulation. In your bones, it increased bone thinning, leading to a higher risk of bone breaking. Genitals and urinary system, cancers in the kidneys, bladder, reproductive organs, erectile dysfunction in men, sexual dysfunction in women. So your body will recover if you quit. Your body is wonderfully and fearfully made, and you are a powerful spiritual person that God has created. So when you stop smoking and stuff, your body will repair its stuff. It's an amazing thing. So after you quit using tobacco, your body starts to heal, and you will start seeing many improvements almost right away. It is never too late to quit. My brother, we had a big old car wreck, and my dad started us smoking. I was 8. I didn't like it, so I didn't keep smoking. I might have smoked 2 or 3 days. My brother, he became addicted. He smoked for 50 years, and he quit smoking when he was 55, and he just turned 70 on the 18th of October. He turned 70 years old, and so he quit smoking when he was 55. So that was several years ago, and he's in much better shape now than he was before. So you start seeing these things pretty quickly. 20 minutes. That's not too long. 20 minutes after you quit. Reduction in your heart rate and blood pressure. The temperature of your hands and feet will start returning to normal. So when we're in a group for an hour, your body has started to try to heal itself. And so, we stop it from healing itself as quickly as we can. But when we're in a 1-hour group, first 20 minutes of that group, after that first 20 minutes, then it starts to try to. 12 hours after you quit, carbon monoxide level in your blood drops, starts to go off. 24 hours after you quit, anxiety and irritability may start due to withdrawal from nicotine. These symptoms get better the longer you're off tobacco. 2 to 3 days after we quit, nerve endings in your body start to regenerate. Because the use of tobacco, all of these chemicals we put in our body, tears up the nerve ending. So anger, irritability, and anxiety from alcohol, nicotine withdrawal may be at its worst during this time. Nicotine replacement with the gum, lozenges can help all that stuff. A week after we quit, tobacco cravings and urges are less frequent, shorter in duration, and going away. 2 weeks after you quit, blood circulation in your gums and teeth are similar to a non-smoker. You should no longer have anger, anxiety, or irritability from withdrawal. Cravings and urges are shorter, less frequent. 1 to 3 months after you quit, your heart attack risk is starting to drop and your lung function is improving. The blood circulation in your body has improved. Walking is easier. You can go farther than when you could when you were smoking. If you had a cough when you smoked, it's probably gone by now. 1 to 9 months after you quit, smoking-related nasal congestion, fatigue, shortness of breath are improving. The cilia, anybody remember what cilia is? Yeah, cilia are the little hairs that are in your lung. They're starting to come back. They're building back up. They're in pretty good shape at this point in time. They're not only in your lungs, but they're in your throat and in your nose. They're all coming back. They've regrown in your lungs and can have clean your lungs to remove irritants and mucus, and so that reduces infections and the need to cough and puke up your lungs every morning. 1 year after you quit, the risk of cardiovascular disease, heart attack, stroke has dropped to less than half that of a smoker. 10 to 15 years after you quit, your risk of having a stroke or heart attack has dropped to similar rate of a non-smoker. So the risk of lung cancer is 30 to 50% less than continuing smokers' risk. Your risk of death from lung cancer is 1/2 the risk if you were an average smoker, which is 1 pack a day. Your risk of pancreatic cancer is similar to a person who has not smoked, and your risk of mouth, throat, and esophageal cancer has reduced significantly. Your risk of tooth loss has decreased to a rate similar to someone who's never smoked. 20 years after you've quit, for women folk, for North folk, your risk of death from smoking-related causes, including cancer and lung cancer, is the same as a person who never smoked. So it takes you 20 years to get back to where you were before you started. But it only takes 20 minutes for your body to start repairing itself. So there's lots of stuff out there to help us quit smoking, but we need to understand that if we are a smoker, it is imperative for us to work at in some way to get off of smoking. Does it make sense if I don't want to quit smoking, which is really a ridiculous stance? I should want to quit smoking. Is it a good idea for me to cut down? Absolutely. Progress is progress. So if I'm smoking 2 packs a day now, and I cut down to 1 pack a day, that's progress. That's helpful. That's not good. That's not where you need to stop, but that's helpful. If I can cut down from a pack a day to 1/2 a pack a day, from 10 cigarettes a day to 5 cigarettes a day, it's all helpful. It's not the best thing, but it's helpful. So here's the deal of cravings for tobacco. I just want to go through this real quick. We're about we're about done. What do I do to deal with the craving? There's a deal called deads. If we continue to smoke, we're going to be dead. It's going to kill us. But we can use the deads strategy to help us with the cravings. The first one is D, right? And that stands for delay. Okay, it's just like any other drug. I'm going to do this one day at a time. But instead of one day, sometimes I have to do it 1 hour at a time. This urge is, we talked about urge surfing. This urge to smoke is going to go away at some point. So, okay, I'm going to delay that. If I can delay using for just 1 hour, then that's going to be helpful. Going to get me past that edge. Remember, a craving usually lasts how long? 8 minutes. Escape. Remove yourself from the situation or event that led to the urge. If I went to I had a fellow wanted me to go to an AA meeting with him over in Houston. He said, "Man, this is the best group I've ever been to." I said, "Okay, let's go." So we took off to go to the group, and it was a lot. Must have been 100 people in this group. And it was held in an office building, and a big old room downstairs that you walk in off the street, And there were so many people in there smoking that place, I mean, cigarette smoke was like a pall in there. It's terrible. So I told this guy, I'm not staying here. This is crazy. He said, well, they can smoke if they want to. That's their right, but I'm not going to stay in this mess. So we left and we went to another place where they weren't smoking, but we had to escape. I needed to get out of that place. You're talking about a trigger, something that make you want to smoke. You go into a room full of a whole bunch of smokers, and that's going to cause you to have a trigger. So if there's something there that's triggering you to smoke, you need to get away from it, right? Get out of there. The third thing is avoid it. Avoid situations where you know you're going to be tempted to smoke. Stop drinking, stop doing this, stop doing whatever it is, stop. If you used to smoke every time you did this, don't do that. And then distract. The last D is distract. Get busy. Do something different. If you have a craving, go do something. Find something else to do. And then the last letter is S, which stands for substitute. When you feel like you want a cigarette, substitute something else for the cigarette. A lot of times I see people who are quitting smoking with a mint, not the little mint, but the long stick mint, and they got that in their mouth. What that does is help them, because when you're addicted to cigarettes, you're addicted to it 3 ways. You're addicted to it physiologically. When you stop smoking, you have all those withdrawal symptoms that start going on in your body, but you're also psychologically addicted to it. You want to really, really, really deeply want another cigarette, and you have the oral fixation because you're used to having something stuck in your mouth, right? And so that's why people use these stick mints, because that takes care of one of those 3. And if you can get one of the 3 out, that's helpful. So, having said all of that, here's the deal. Get help from your family and friends. Tell everybody that you're quitting. Tell everybody your quit day. Tell them when you want to quit. Tell them you need some help. Don't so that they don't offer you cigarettes and things like that. Here's the deal. Should we stop smoking?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a no-brainer. It's an easy choice. If it was easy to do, we would all do it. Knowing that it's going to cause cancer, knowing that it causes all of these health problems, knowing that it makes us stink, knowing that it's not as cool as we thought it was when we were 12. Society is not as accepting of people smoking now as they used to be, are they? When I was a kid, you could smoke anywhere you wanted to. You went into the stores, you went into the hotels, you went into the restaurants, you could smoke in all of those places. Now you can't smoke in any of them.
When you went in that AA meeting where they were smoking, did it give you a flashback of back when you could smoke everywhere?
Oh yeah, it did, and that was many years ago. That was probably, I don't know how many years ago that was. That was a long time ago, and that was in that era when you could smoke anywhere you wanted to smoke. You know, I remember going to the movies and there were people smoking in the movies in an enclosed movie house. You know, it was just
straight arms.
yeah, they did.
Yeah, it's funny that you're doing this presentation today because I was just at the doctor's office and he asked me if I smoked. I said, yeah. I said, how much? I said, go still back a day. He said, well, do you want me to prescribe you some patches to help you quit? I said, no, one thing at a time.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, it's kind of funny because almost every treatment facility that you go to has that philosophy in mind. Let's get off of this terrible drug that you're on, and maybe later on you can get off of the lesser drug of nicotine. When nicotine, the use of cigarettes, kills more people than all other forms of death combined. All of the forms combined. We die from all sorts of things. You put all of those things combined. The use of tobacco trumps every one of them. They kill 3 times more. If you got 10 people dying in the world from all other forms, 30 people are dying from cigarettes and tobacco. So we're doing it backwards. We should pick people off cigarettes first, and then let's get them off cocaine. Because cocaine and cigarettes are going to kill you almost guaranteed. If you continue to use, it's almost guaranteed to kill you. You know, cocaine, it can kill you, but it's not going to kill you as quickly as that. But, all right, Mr. Gold said, we got to quit now.